Welcome once again to another telecourse on testing. I'm your host, Fanny de Guzman. The past episodes have all been on the teaching of reading. Today, we will take up the testing of reading. To most classroom teachers, testing of reading still takes the traditional view that testing is the only means to assess how well students can read. This episode, however, will show you that the current developments in testing reading are well beyond this. This episode intends to explore other means through which you can learn more about your students' reading behaviors other than through testing. We shall have more of this when we come back. Welcome back. One of the more current views in the field of student learning evaluation is the shift from simply testing to a broader process called assessment. While testing always involves quantification or measurement of sampled reading behavior, assessment refers to the process of gathering information about learners' needs, their strengths and weaknesses, their achievements, behaviors and practices, their study habits and attitudes toward reading. You can see that testing is just one way through which you can assess the reading ability of your students. You cannot measure all those aspects of reading by testing alone. Let us differentiate the two concepts further. In testing, we usually think of finding out what the learners can do after an instructional event. For instance, after reading a story, you test your students on how well they understand it by asking them comprehension questions. That's all that matters. If they get a high score, it means comprehension is high. If they get a low score, it means little or no comprehension has taken place, and that's it. The test very often is only after the product of the reading process, which is comprehension. We refer to this as product-oriented assessment. Assessment, however, is not limited to knowing the comprehension level of the learners only. We should also be interested in knowing how the learners are able to comprehend the text, if they do, and why not if they aren't able to. We are after the comprehending process. What strategies do they employ to understand the text? What strategies do they use when comprehension bogs down? Questions like this focus on process and not on product. This is another significant aspect of assessment. Assessment, therefore, should take care of both product and process. Traditional testing, therefore, that focuses on testing comprehension is product-oriented. We shall try both approaches in this lesson. Research in reading has shown that the two most essential components of reading comprehension are vocabulary knowledge and understanding the printed material. Our assessment procedures shall try to focus on these two components. How to assess vocabulary knowledge and understanding of printed materials using both product and process-oriented techniques. Let us take testing vocabulary knowledge as a product first. The most common way to test vocabulary is by directly asking the students for the meaning of a word, either given in isolation or in a context, as it appears in a sentence or in a text. In this case, we can make use of selected response item formats like multiple choice or matching techniques. Let's look at these examples. Choose the meaning of the underlined word in its sentence. Tony's classmates, especially the girls, avoid being with him because he's such a drag. The distractors are A liar. B, a show-off. C, a boring person. D, a serious person. Notice that this item uses multiple choice format with 4 distractors. Notice too that the sentence does not provide enough context clues or semantic cues to be able to get the meaning of drag. The distractors cannot also help since they are all negative traits. The item simply expects the learners to give the meaning outright. Here's another example. My brother is such an avid fan of the champion. A close relative. B, an efficient coach. C, a good follower. And D, an enthusiastic admirer. You can see that even if the word is used in a sentence, no definite clues are given. Here's another example where there are absolutely no clues given. To meddle means to blank. A, interfere. B, separate. C, participate. D, coordinate. Notice that this item directly asks for the meaning of the word. It's either the students know or don't know. Now, this time, I'd like to show you how this item can be modified to test the students' ability to identify the meaning of the word using semantic cues or context clues. Watch this. Tony's classmates, especially the girls, avoid being with him because he's such a drag. He wouldn't start any conversation nor join in at all. The distractors: a liar, A. B, a show-off. C, a boring person. D, a serious person. What has been added to the stem? Yes, those are semantic cues or context clues. Let's see the other item again. My brother is such an avid fan of the champion that he hangs his big picture right in his bedroom. You can see that the clause that he hangs his picture right in his bedroom provides the clue to understanding the phrase avid fan. This is how we test the vocabulary skill of getting meaning through context clues. This time, let's find out whether students know how to find the meaning of a word using semantic cues. How do we change this item so we can determine what is going on in the minds of the learners? Instead of only asking your students for the meaning of the word, you can ask them to underline the words in the sentence which help them know the meaning of the word. See how the test directions are modified. Underline the word or words in its sentence that tell you the meaning of the underlined word. The students should underline the last sentence like this. If the tests are to be used again, you may ask the students to copy the context clues instead of underlining them. Here's the other item. My brother is such an avid fan of the champion that he hangs his big picture right in his bedroom. The assessment technique to identify the context clues instead of giving the meaning is more process-oriented than product-oriented.